It's in Matthew 25:31 is when it begins. But I'll just tell you the story. You can turn to it if you want to. It's the story that we all probably know, is that Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and he says, hey, when you stand before my Father, they'll have the goats and the sheep separated, and he'll say, you gave me a cup to drink when I had nothing to drink. You gave me something to eat when I was hungry. You clothed me when I was naked. You visited me when I was in prison, right? We know that one. And he says, and they will respond, when did we do all those things for you? And Jesus says, you did those things when you did it unto the least of these, right? So we know this one. This one's pretty easy. But think about this. What is he saying? He's saying, if you want to worship me with your love, it's not just in song, it's not just in the way that, but it's actually in the way that you treat people, in the way that you love them. Think about this. This is the image that I have. I stand and I want to worship Jesus, right? And I want to give him all of my love, right? So I'm worshiping Jesus and I give him all of my love. And maybe it's in here in worship. Maybe it's on myself. Maybe it's the way I live in my life, whatever it is. But it's this image of me giving all of my gifts, giving all of everything that I have and laying at the feet of Jesus, right? And so I may go, this is how I give Jesus love. This is how I give Jesus my worship, is by singing songs, raising my hands, whatever it is, shouting, dancing. It could be anything, right? But what he's also saying here is, he says, when you go to the least of these and you give them, when you show them love, that's essentially what he's saying. When you show them love, you are actually giving it to me. So you're actually worshiping me. And you're actually loving me when you do it to the least of these. And what does that tell me? Okay, if he's saying it's to the least of these, then it also can be to the greatest of these. It's having everybody in between. It's not like, how can I find the lowest person in society and find Jesus? You know what I mean? Do you qualify as the least of these? You look like the lowest of low, bro. You must be the degenerate of society. So I'm going to love you so I get a good place in heaven. You know what I mean? It's not saying that. It's not saying that. It's saying you can't find the lowest of the low, because everybody in between, when you love them, you're loving Jesus. Okay? So I have to make that definition because I thought about that. Oh, no, that wouldn't work. Right? Because we're like, well, I loved the lowest of low today. I am good. I didn't love Jesus in anybody else, but I did in that person, So he's saying anybody, no matter how low or how high, when you give them that, you are actually giving me the worship. You're actually giving me these gifts of love. You're giving all that. That's what he's saying. And that's all fine and great. But you know what I thought when I heard that verse? I went, God, the lowest of lows are hard to love. They are not easy. You know what I mean? You're saying to love you, I got to love those people, but those people aren't nice like you. Those people are not nice. Maybe some of the widows and the old grannies might be, but other than that, that's it. The rest of them are probably drunks and mean people, and they're not going to receive this love nor give me nothing back. And I'm going, that's really hard. You know what I mean? He's saying when you give those people love is when you're actually giving me worship. And I'm going, that's not so easy. That is not easy. But he's saying that's one of the ways that you actually give me your worship and give me your love. And so I thought about that and I went, ugh. Because you know what happens? This is what really happens. Let's just be totally honest here. This is what really happens. Oh, look, there's a degenerative society, right, in our minds. You might say that out loud. I wouldn't, but anyways. How'd you get punched in the face today? No, anyways. I said out loud what I was thinking. No, you go, oh, here's this person, and you might, it's easy to give $5 to the person standing on the corner, and then you drive off and you never have to see them again. right? Or it may be easy to, oh yeah, sure, I'll buy your drink here, whatever. Here, have a Coke or something. Then you leave and you don't have to see them again. It's great. It's awesome. It's so easy. And you may go, well, there, I checked off my love in Jesus today through the lowest of lows of society, or even if it's not the lowest of lows, right? But have you actually tried to have a relationship with the town drunk? Yeah, me too. And you know what? As we all know this, we're all speaking in that we all understand this. They're not easy to love, right? They're mean. They're manipulative. They sting. Yeah, right? Have you ever actually had to try to have a relationship with the town drunk? It's not easy because they're always trying to take something. They're always trying to do something. They're always such a victim in the relationship. They're always manipulating something in one way. And you know what you do? You just go, you know what? I can't stand to be around you anymore, so I'm going to stop loving you. Goodbye. We're done. Right? That's what we do. That's what we all do. Trust me. I know just as much as anybody. I worked at the farm store, right? Anyways, and all of us have these experiences. This is not just for some. This is everybody. But you see what I'm saying? Do we have a problem? Yes. The problem is Jesus is saying, you love those people, you love me. It's not so easy, okay? How am I going to do that well? But my problem is we go, I'm going to love you. And we say, well, let me pull out my little black book of all the good things and the bad things I've done to you. Right, God? I gave on Tuesday, because I was still feeling pretty good from Sunday, I helped this person out a little bit and was nicer than I usually was and, went the little extra distance. And I love that person. They were nice about it, but I helped them a little bit, right? But then Thursday rolled around and you're kind of tired and you don't really want to do it. And then you have to deal with that person again. And you didn't do the extra thing. And you actually snapped at him. You actually said, whatever. And you're like, let's forget about that part, Jesus. Let's just remember the first part that I did something good for him. And let's check that off on my records. I don't think that's actually how this works. I think he's actually saying, how did you love that person through their life? What example did you really give? So on Tuesday, you gave a good example, but on Thursday, you gave a bad example. So what really happened this week, right? What happened is you tried loving this person. You didn't know how to do that well, and you didn't know how to function, and you turned off your love halfway through the week on this, and they didn't actually get to meet me. That's the problem. And I'm not blaming or I'm not shaming or I'm not saying anything because that's just how we usually do things. That is our natural habit. But that's not how Jesus did it, right? Because obviously, again, we're talking in rhetoricals here, Jesus did not do that with us, right? Jesus never turned his love off and never does turn his love off towards us. He doesn't go, I can't take your annoying attitude anymore. I'm done with you, right? Yeah, praise the Lord. So he doesn't ever do that. Doesn't ever do that, and he never did do that because also if we look at his life as a man, he dealt with some pretty annoying people, right? He had the 12 disciples around him. You know how many egos he had to deal with? How many bad ideas he had to deal with? How many reactionary, fearful, angry people he had to deal with on a day-to-day basis because he had these 12 very messed up men around him. He did not take the nice, cleaned up people of society, right? Those are the people. But you know what? He never turned his love off. He never stopped loving them. He never got offended at what they said and was like, I can't believe you said that, bro. I'm over it. Leave. Just stop. And when you want to be better, you can maybe come back. Just don't ever do that again. He didn't ever do that. He never got offended. He never stopped loving them. He may had to have changed his reactions to each different situation, but he always was responding in love. He was never shifted on the way that he loved people by the way they acted. Right? That's what Jesus is doing. Not only that, he had the Pharisees. He had all the thousands of people around him all the time, constantly coming after him. So much so, as we know, that even when he was hanging on the cross, he said, I'm not going to stop loving these people, even though they're killing me. They cannot make me stop loving them. No matter what they do, they cannot make me stop loving them. So God, forgive them, because I still love them and I still want a relationship with them, even though they hate me. He never stopped loving. And you know what? I think about Revelation, in the book of Revelation, how it talks about us being overcomers and victors and powerful ones. And it constantly is telling you about the reward that you get when you live as an overcomer. And I look at Jesus, and he is the ultimate overcomer, not only in sickness, not only in sin, but also in love. He loved like an overcomer, and his love was able to overcome all the obstacles of love. And I think, you know what? We are called to do the exact same things, is that we're to be overcomers of love. Our love is going to overcome every offense, every hurt, every pain, every anger, and every fear. And that is the way we're supposed to live.